All right, everyone, now we have very happy news. Vice News is effectively collapsing right now. Of course, you'll remember, back in the day, Vice News was actually pretty good. Some of you aren't old enough to remember this. Yes, back in the middle of the 2010s when Tim Pool still worked with them, Vice News was actually, if not based, at least they did journalism. I can't remember which spate of riots it was that I was watching live. I think it might have been the Ferguson riots. That's a little bit later, of course. But I was watching those, mainly the footage from Vice. They were on the ground talking to people, and there were fire bombs and cars lit ablaze and people beating each other and rioting and doing crazy shit, and it was kind of fun. Vice News actually had redeeming qualities, but that was a long time ago. Now, link in the description, not archived, just a Twitter link. Vice News has just laid off hundreds of employees and is no longer apparently planning to publish news on Vice.com at all. Well, ta-da, you don't exist at that point. That's all you have. You're missing link media. Not Legacymedia, by the way. I wanted to clarify something in this particular video. Legacymedia is an old term from the late 90s that refers to ancient media, so newsprint and magazines and TV, etc. Radio, to an extent. They operate on a different wavelength, so to speak, pun intended. Serious and shit like that. And what they did was a lot of them were reluctant to really invest a lot of time and money and effort and manpower into getting .coms going back during the .com boom. And the report, which turned out to be prophetic in nature, said that's a big mistake. It's really going to hurt them down the line. Any Tom, Dick, and Harry out there with a computer right now is registering a .com. You got like fucking www.watchmyfuckingeggs.com where you can upload pictures of the carton of eggs that you just bought, and then the trolls show up and start posting fried eggs and scrambled eggs and stuff like that. Everyone was getting in on that had the means to do so at the time. Legacymedia refers to firms that didn't do that, and they did suffer as the result of that. And we see the fallout now. And the funny thing is, the Legacymedia is now lashing out and saying, well, this ends the digital media revolution. I don't think so. That's a little bit... There's an article on RCP right now to that effect. No, it means the end of some of these antiquated digital media firms. They have a different problem. Legacymedia's problem is they didn't get in early enough on .coms, and they waged a war later on social media when it was new, and stubbornly did not want to have the YouTube page, the Twitter page, etc. Now, as social media branches out, YouTube has viable competitors, Facebook has viable competitors, new tech is a thing, etc. The missing link media's problem is that they created a corporate construct without sort of the storied legacy of the older reporting media. So the New York Times, everyone knows who the New York Times is. Their name, their brand alone can keep them afloat, at least to an extent. And then at least they've branched out into the online world to an extent as well. Missing link media created, therefore, a bloated, high overhead corporate structure where they needed lawyers and accountants and people in the mailroom and the janitors and stuff. They oversized themselves. What they did is effectively speculate, well, the digital revolution will be hot forever, and so we can invest as much as we want. And investors flocked to them, necessarily, and gave them a bunch of money, many of them probably not making a return at this point. But then the money starts drying up once you realize, hey, eventually the music ends. It's different from truly independent reporting, like the sort of thing that I do. I have a very low overhead. I have a home office, a computer, a microphone, a webcam, all sorts of cool shit behind me, but that's beyond the point. And I could just meme it up and create my brand just being there for being their's sake, just by being accurate in my analysis and stuff. And people have all sorts of other talents. One person does makeup tutorials, another person does sports commentary, etc., etc., etc. We don't have the kind of bloated overhead that Vice has. They need an office and hundreds of employees to do what is done by very, very small groups of people at home offices all across the world. We've outcompeted them. That's why the missing link media is disappearing. It's not because, well, people are souring on the whole digital media thing. No. There's plenty of people that stream and do one-off videos and shorts and all sorts of stuff all across the internet, sometimes garnering audiences in the tens, hundreds, or even millions range. It happens regularly. I think at this point, how many views have I had on YouTube? If you count the videos I had to purge because of their anti-election free speech rules there and certain medical topics we still can't mention, it's over 400 million views on my content. I'm one goddamn person. I don't have a high budget. I have a nice computer, but I don't have a rolling yearly budget in the six-figure range like some of these media groups do. And the six-figure ones are the smaller ones. Be like OMG Media, you know, you got a van and a half a dozen employees or something like that. Okay, maybe not as much bloat and overhead as Vice News had. It's not a surprise that they're collapsing. Salon, HuffPo, BuzzFeed, all of these others, especially those that dedicated themselves to wokeness, are beginning to crumble. Because you don't need that many media outlets to cover the same 5 or 6 issues from the same position. There's no nuance there. Okay, you don't like guns, you don't like Donald Trump, and everything around you is racist, sexist, or otherwise extreme and bigoted. Again, it's the only reporting that you get from them. No, people got bored of it eventually. The problem is that Vice was never as funny, at least, as like the Daily Beast or something like that. If you're going to go off into La La Land, TDS, anti-gunnery and stuff, at the very least be hyperbolic to the point of near self-deprecation. Because then you'll have more viewers. I noticed that the Daily Beast isn't having this problem. By the way, secretly, behind the scenes, the leftoid outlets that are going to complain about this and say it's the result of far-right extremism or the population's becoming more racist or something like that, it's inevitable. You know that that'll happen. Secretly, they're happy because now people can't go to Vice.com to get their leftoid news. Well, the 10 people that still were using it anyway will have to go elsewhere to get their echo chamber filth now, won't they? Which means more viewers to the rest. As the puddle shrinks, some of the fish die and the rest of the fish linger on a little bit longer. That's basically the best that they can hope for, but within 5 years, with the rise of AI especially, facilitating people doing independent content creation, with the rise of new tech, the rise of things like Rumble, BitChute, etc., Substack has carved a hole in the blogosphere, which formerly was basically WordPress and Mediaite and a few other sites. We're beginning to win the war of attrition. This is why I do the archive everything pitch all the time. You'll realize that I archive as much as possible to the point where enough people are doing it now. Half the time when I go to a news story, it's already been run through archive.today. Can you imagine how many collective hundreds of thousands or possibly even millions of dollars we've drained from companies like this? Not just Vice, but collectively? Just through the Clankdom Empire's efforts? Just this one audience base? Shit, people send me archive shit all the time. And I love it. I love thinking about that. Hope when I die, I get to like review my life and learn like secrets about like what happened as a result of my actions and see exactly how much money that collectively the Clankers' action is drained from groups like Vice News. I bet it's over $1 million at this point, and it's growing day by day. I find that to be very, very funny. We helped contribute towards the demise of yet another missing link media site that got massive TDS and wokeness. Again, originally fucking Tim Pool was involved with Vice News. He helped get that going. I bet he's very, very glad right now from his ultra cool home office. Well, office says. I bet he's very happy that he cut the cord, that he cut him loose. I think he made a good business decision. That's about all. Peace out.